Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and this is of course another day in the life. I just started off my day by setting up my desk. I didn't really tidy up from the night before or anything. I literally just got straight to it, with the first task being setting up my to-do list. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I love a to-do list and I will not stop my day without one. I think that it is very important for a whole range of reasons. One, being able to track what you need to do, but two, more positively, tracking what you've actually done, because I think especially when you're in the process of doing a PhD or working on whatever project it may be, it is very easy to lose sight or lose track of what you have done as like celebrating your accomplishments. You will also notice that I am doing this on paper. I do have multiple ways in which I like to record my to-do list, sometimes on paper, sometimes on my computer. And if I'm doing it on my computer, I have a bad habit of doing it on multiple different applications, sometimes notes, sometimes another platform. But the bottom line is, regardless of where I decide to record my to-do list for the day, it does eventually get copied over to my virtual lab book. So for my virtual lab book, I did initially use Evernote, but they did change their system. So they're now limiting their free version to have a far smaller amount of pages and different kinds of things. So I have moved over to OneNote as of this video. I must say I definitely do prefer OneNote over Evernote, so I'm happy that this has kind of happened. It's opened my eyes and forced me to try other things outside of Evernote. But I'll make a whole separate video as to the comparisons between the two, pros and cons of both. But yeah, I'm currently using OneNote and I'm very happy with it so far. But what you can currently see on the screen on the left on my little laptop screen is Anaconda, which if you guys are familiar with computational biology, you probably had to use Conda at some point. It's an environment in which you are able to install different packages within Linux, and they have an app version where you can use applications such as Spider or Jupyter notebooks. I use it to run Spider. You don't have to use Spider under Anaconda, but because of things I have installed in the environment, it was just easier for me to do that. I almost always leave that open, especially if I haven't turned off my laptop, which is a really bad habit. So after doing my to-do list, I went ahead and started running some code that I had previously made from the night before. So I was running that in the background while I updated my calendar and made my virtual to-do list. I think it's very important to try to maximize efficiency where possible. So of course, thinking ahead, such as running scripts and then doing the kind of monotonous tasks, makes more sense than any other kind of way. Kind of like when you bake, you want to preheat the oven before you start trying to bake the cake, if that makes sense. So, you're preheating it while you're preparing the ingredients. I feel like a PhD or many projects are pretty much the same. So after planning my to-do list for the day, I decided to go ahead and get ready so that I could have a change of scenery. I especially like to do this because I feel like working in the same environment day in and day out for me can become quite boring and quite monotonous, especially if you live alone or any of those kinds of things. So I called my friend and we headed over to a bar/restaurant kind of place that is near my university, so that we could study together. I definitely think that another reason you should try to switch up the environment in which you work in on a regular basis is because sometimes I need a break to try to think things through. So some of my best coding problem breakthroughs have been in the shower, or when I've been asleep, or when I've been on my way somewhere. And sometimes stepping away from something and coming back to it with fresh eyes is really beneficial, because that way you actually easily see the codes and problems that you have with whatever it is that you're working on. Guys, I'm with Ella again. It's always Ella, isn't it? And we're on a little study day.
You don't have to find the confidence in tools for rational by any chance.
I have. When I went to Cambridge and did that course, I vaguely remember talking about stuff like that, but I've never done it myself. So I'm going to answer it. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But one day you have to do the question. So aggression?
Okay,
it might turn aggressive, to be fair, but I know who I can turn to in that instance. So healthy. Do you want some?
Might still some chips.
I think I want salt and pepper on it.
Can I get the salt, please?
Mrs. Dan, a number of years ago, your son Clifford was convicted convicted of murder and sentenced to prison. Is that right?
Yes, for a crime he didn't commit.